Okay folks, I'm back again. Today I am riding a ZX-12R. It's a Kawasaki ZX-12R. So 1.2 litres, 4 cylinders, inline, 300 kilometers per hour worth of bike between my knees today. And as you will be able to see by this sign, we are on our way to Mount Nebo and Mount Glorious, just outside Brisbane today. So, pretty exciting times. Should be a good ride. It's a weekday. It is slightly overcast. Perfect timing. The road isn't taken up with tourists and policemen, and it's just a good day with the weather. It's dry but overcast, so not too hot. So it's been good. I've been riding this bike for a couple of days, so it's actually quite a decent bike, as you could imagine, for what it was. When it first came out, it was, top of the line. So quite a well put together bike. It's very solid. It's quite heavy, which I think you need that kind of weight. When you start doing some of those high speeds, you really need to be able to be planted, not blown about by the wind. I'll stop in a few minutes and have a walk around the bike so you can get a good look at it. It's a pretty mean looking machine, but as you can hear, it has a Acropovic slip-on, so it has quite a good sound, especially when you get a few revs underneath it. The engine, of course, being 1200, is just very torquey. In theory, you could ride around never changing out of first gear. It's just that torquey. It just goes and goes and goes. You can just roll on and it just flies away, and it's deceptively powerful. Like because it just takes off. It just flies away from you, and it doesn't help that the speedometer, of course, because it needs to fit 300 kilometers an hour on there. The distance between 0 and 60, which is the 60 kph, which is the main speed around streets, the distance between those two numbers is quite small, so you find yourself getting there pretty quick. Going to be hitting these corners too quick today for a couple of reasons. One, I don't know this road very well, so I'm not going to risk anything by taking chances. Two, this isn't my bike. I don't want to be the one who drops it off a cliff. I'm unfamiliar with this bike, so I don't know how well it handles, how well it behaves in certain circumstances, which with other bikes like my Daytona, I'm gradually learning how it behaves and adapting accordingly. So I must say, this is probably the biggest bike I've ever ridden, both in terms of capacity and I think I've ridden another 1200, a Bandit 1200. It's the biggest bike in terms of power and weight I think that I've ridden, and I am content to say that it is a bit too heavy for me. Just with simple things like putting it at a park. Like earlier I pulled into a car park and I wasn't thinking, and I nosed in downhill, and I struggled to push it back up far enough. Thankfully there wasn't a car beside me, so I was able to only push back a few feet and then whip around into the car park beside me to face the other direction. But yeah, it's a bit on the heavy side. Mind you, that means that when you load it up with luggage, if you're touring around or anything, it is, the luggage hardly makes a difference. It's just very nice. Very still smooth, you don't notice the extra weight. This is just nice. It's just got a decent, just sitting in a sweet spot. I don't know what that's saying, something about expect delays, asphalt. This bike warms up quite nicely, as in it keeps your legs warm when it gets a bit of warmth into it. Unfortunately, that means in summer I imagine that it would be quite hot, but now we're coming into winter and it is it's just nice. It's just nice. The morning when I was riding along it, under 15 degrees, I'm guessing around 10 degrees, it didn't warm up as much as I wanted. I wanted a bit more warmth to keep me warm. But that's alright. I would like the brakes on this bike to be a bit more punchy, a bit more responsive. I feel that, I don't know if they just need a bit of adjustment, what the story is, but I feel that at least the front especially, I think feels a bit squishy. I'd like to see them tightened up a little bit. Here we go, here's some nice fresh asphalt. I don't know what you're supposed to do in that. Probably passing cyclists, now that I think about it. This is nice, this is nice. Look at that. I love those double lines and those signs telling me which way to go. Oh, beautiful. Fresh surface. Fresh surface there. What more could you want? beautiful. I could probably take some of these corners a bit faster, but I've only ridden this road once in each direction, if that. I've ridden it at least once. I think I've ridden it once in the other direction. I've ridden the Mount Gloria section several times, but being pretty unfamiliar with this section of road, as you can see, it's quite narrow and there's oncoming traffic. So being unfamiliar with the road, being unfamiliar with the bike not being mine. I'm not wearing full protective gear either, so I'm just playing it safe today. Just taking the time and taking in the sights, enjoying this. It's just a perfect temperature. It's one of those, some of those days, sometimes everything's just right, and I think this day is one of those days. Sometimes it's just, it's a bit wet, the road's been wet from a previous shower, or the bike's not behaving, or, it's just, being a motorcyclist, there's 101 things that can be not quite right, and that means that when they are all just right, everything just comes together. Makes it all worth it. Yeah, that sound. Those are the kinds of speed signs we love. One of the things I love about this bike is the cockpit is a bit more open. It makes the bike look a little bit taller and bulkier in general, but the fact is I'm quite a tall person, and I find that on the Daytona, the really sleek little windshield just cuts in a little bit too low, and I can't see the buttons across the lights across the top of the dash on my Daytona, whereas here I can, I've got a full view here, no chance of it being obscured. go. There we go. There it is. I'm not too good at getting the camera adjusted in the right spot, but you can see there's the Kawasaki ZX-12R. Probably can't see much of the background either, but there's a valley in there behind those trees, and there's a nice view. You can see there. So this bike is running, I told you about the Akrapovic. I told you about the Akrapovic exhaust there. So this is big dual calipers on the front. So it's running Michelin Pilot Road 3s on the front and back, and of course those are the dual compound ones, where there's a harder compound in the middle and a softer compound on the outside. The idea being, as you ride, daily riding, to and from work or whatever, downtown to the shops, whatever, you're riding on the hard wearing stuff, and your long trips, where you spend a lot of time just riding on the flat, or riding on the middle. So you have your harder compound in the center, and then when you are on the corner, you have your stickier compound where you need it. And of course it wears quicker, but it's stickier. But you get it where you need it, which is in the corners. So there you go. There's the 12R with the Ventura rack on the back. Yeah. I'm gonna leave it there for you. I might cut back in with some more footage later on, but I'm gonna leave it there for now. Please like and subscribe, and tell me what kind of videos you want to see. I'll catch you next time.